talking about diaphragmatic release, which is this action right here. What's going on here is if you can see, my back is not moving very much at all. But what's happening is I am releasing my diaphragm. So this diaphragmatic release thing is neurologically linked to what we talk about, we call the limbic system. And what it does is it tells my limbic system, which is my fight flight part of my brain, that I can chill, that there's actually nothing going on around me that I need to be worried about. Context of safety, because the thing about this fight flight system is it really is about avoiding being eaten by a bear. It's not about whether or not, I don't know, the roof's going to cave in, or there's going to be a snowstorm, or these kinds of things, bills to pay, those sorts of things. Those are not unreal problems, but those are not those. Well, I guess if the roof collapses, but it's about the worry that the roof might collapse, because what's actually happening right now is the roof is not collapsing. It's a specific thing for a moment. This is an important point, because the roof may collapse. There's no question about that. However, it's not collapsing now. And this limbic system is for me to respond to something that's happening right now, not something that could happen or might happen or could have. It's about what's going on right here, right now. And so when I take up this breathing thing, it brings me back to the moment that I'm in, the circumstances that are actually going on around me, the things that I actually have to deal with. And so I'm going to do a couple breaths right now just for fun. Now, there's one thing that occurs to me as I'm doing that. Generally, that the first exhale is shorter, because, okay, so the rules are this: into the nose, out through the mouth. You count when you breathe, and the only reason why you count is because you want the in-breath and the out-breath number to be the same. It doesn't matter what the number is. It doesn't have to be a big number, little number does not matter. It's just that they're the same. And I realized that actually when I start, the number is not the same, and it settles into being the same. So that's a cool thing too. You want your back to be free. You don't want to be leaning back. If you have to physiologically, just because of whatever's going on in your life, that's fine. But this freedom thing is simply about making this diaphragm as flexible as possible, so that it's as easy to do this as possible. Everyone who's watched these knows the reason why I have this practice to be the way that it is because the easiest one I could possibly come up with, which means I continue to do it, which means I do continue to do it, which means it's really useful for me because it's available. And practice, most important thing is practice. So I practice twice a day, every day. First thing, last thing. The reason why I do that is because I never want to be more than 12 hours from the last time I did it. And because it's just too easy for me to forget things. And so that locality of experience is really important to me. And the simplicity of this practice is really important to me. There's a bazillion breathing practices. There's apps on phones now. There's a whole book on breathing. I mean, there's books and books on breathing, but this whole book just came out about breathing and why it's useful. And so there's plenty out there of information. This thing that I've just laid out for you is simple and straightforward and basic. And it does all the things that need to be done. The breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth thing, there's physiological reasons why you don't want to suck air in through your mouth, just because of the effect that it has on your limbic system. This is all about telling your limbic system that actually what's going on around you is not life-threatening right now, right in this exact instant. If it is, because of where you're at and what's going on with you, that's a different situation. And then you want your limbic system engaged so you can respond and stay alive, hopefully. But if that's not what's happening for you in this exact moment right here, right now, you don't want to be in that place. And there's lots of reasons why you don't, mostly because it's exhausting and so on and so forth. And one of the reasons why, although there are medical reasons why you may be exhausted right now, please check those out with a physician. I am not a physician, I'm a psychologist. Stress can also create anxiety, and stress and anxiety can also create fatigue. It simply has to do with the fact that we are expending a tremendous amount of energy to be in that space of that has nothing to do with what's actually going on around us. So again, this breathing thing is to bring us back to where we are right here, right now. And so that's the breathing thing. That's the basics thing for today. By the way, if you're interested in learning more about these practices, I have written them down in a book form. This is my email address, also a website where you can get in touch with me. If that would be useful, you can read all the information about this breathing practice along with a number of other things. Free, by the way. Just send me a DM or email me or whatever is the easiest way to get in touch with me. I'm happy to send you a copy of the book. because I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about that. What I do want to spend some time talking about is another thing having to do with this practice that I'm sure you're familiar with. You've been listening to these long enough. What's absent but implicit about everything that we do, and in this instance, if you think about those things that get you into that place of concern, what are those things? And why are those the things? And so this is also based on a really important idea, as far as I'm concerned, that the reasons why you get concerned about, if we could both get concerned about the roof collapsing, the reason why you get concerned about it is different than the reason why I get concerned about it. Even if we're both saying it's because I don't want to die, because then I would say, why is it really important for you to not die? Now that sounds like a crazy question. I ask a lot of crazy questions. The reason why I ask those crazy questions is because I don't know the answer to that question for you. I know the answer to that question for me. Maybe sometimes I don't even know the answer for me, but I definitely don't know it for you. And the answer for you to that question is different than the answer would be for me. And then you have that answer, and you could actually ask a why into the answer to that answer if you want to. But then the next thing is, what does it say about what stands for you? What matters to you? That's your answer. What does it say about your hopes and your dreams and your desires? That's your answer. And then that creates a whole different territory of experience, because now all of a sudden you're talking about what matters to you, what you stand for. You've moved from the idea that the roof is going to collapse into this other territory of your experience that's part of your life that doesn't get a lot of airtime, that people don't talk about very much, but has to do with why we stand for the things that we stand for, why we have the hopes and dreams and desires that we have, and what they are. These are all really, really important things, I believe, to carry with us as well. So when we're thinking about, I'm a person that doesn't want the roof to collapse on me, we're also thinking about why, what it says about what we stand for, what matters to us. For me, the answer to those questions has to do with how much I value life and my hopes for myself, for possible things that could happen with me and my family, my kids, and seeing them grow up and what they end up doing, and just more kind of conversations with people and being able to talk to people. And these are all the things so it's not just about dying, it's really about sort of ideas I have about what I might do next. So that's for me. And it makes you might connect with some of that stuff, but there's different reasons why you connect with it, and those different reasons are really, 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 really important. They're what make you who you are, as opposed to who I am. And each and every one of us is an extraordinarily important part of this freaking, talk about this tapestry. I wrote the song about this tapestry thing, these interconnected, interwoven golden threads of awesomeness that is each and every one of us. And so that's why it's important to ask these questions and to have these ideas more local to us when we're thinking about lots of different things. So anyway, that's what's next for Dr. Joel today. I'll be back tomorrow with I don't know what I'll be back tomorrow with, but I'll be back tomorrow.